Okay, mediumship group exercises. These are great in practice circles. I cannot recommend strongly enough development in practice circles if you're developing medium. So much better to learn on each other than to learn on the public. Said that before, I will say that always. There's two broad categories of those circles. One is a practice circle where you just get together and practice on each other. And the other is more specifically development circle where you try specific exercises. So it's nice for data type stuff, like where everyone is trying for a name or wants a name or a location or the manner of passing, something specific like that in their, as part of their reading, when they connect with someone in spirit. And those are good, but what I want to talk about in this video are exercises that are more about an approach to mediumship rather than some specific data. So the first one that I really like, and I try to do this with every reading, but I forget to sometimes, which is weird even for me, because how do you forget this? But I try to set the intention. Intentionality is really powerful in mediumship. And what the exercise as a group, but also I do on my own every time, almost every time, is to set my intention for what does the sitter need to hear? What does the client need to hear? Because some people, some recipients want hard facts. They want data like a name or way of passing or where they lived or whatever. And other people want messages, or they want that memory, the time you went scuba diving with grandma. They want things like that. And some people, it's more valid for them. Some clients, it's more valid for them if you give them facts and figures like names, and some are like, well, anybody could give me that. You can, find that on paper somewhere. That doesn't, or on the internet, for example, which is true. So they want things like the memories, scuba diving with grandma memories that you can't really find online, or you couldn't have heard about from someone else or whatever. So what does the sitter want to hear? What does the sitter need to hear? That's a great attitude to go in with, and it's something I try to exercise. So that's good exercise. Another good exercise to do in a practice circle would be just look around the room you're in and let your eyes wander, and something in the room gets your attention. So right now I'm looking at an antique lamp, which could make my mind wander to another antique lamp that I remember in my grandmother's house. That's my mom's mom, not my dad's mom. And oh, now I know I'm with a woman, and you're off on a roll. So just let something in your own room that you're sitting in catch your attention, and run with that. That's a way of getting out of your own way. A really good one. Well, so another one is, and I think this is Tony Stockwell's. I think it was in his class when I got this. I'm not sure, but to phrase the way you're getting information, to say, I'm with someone who remembers fill in the blank. So I'm with a man, and he remembers having a heart attack, or he remembers being an attorney. Phrase what you're getting that way. I have someone who remembers, and then talk about what they remember. That's pretty good. One that I really like, and it helps to give a much more rounded picture, it also lets more information flow, is if you get someone in spirit, like you say, you get someone who you know is a dad, like it's a man, father's side of the family, definitely feels like a father. And so you'll get a lot of dad-like references. But then if you just stretch and say, well, what was he like as a brother? What was he like as a spouse? What was he like as a coworker? That gives a more well-rounded picture of the person you're connected with. And it also gives other data. So if you were getting all dad references, you might not know that this guy had been a surgeon. But if you're feeling into what was he like at work, and you're suddenly seeing surgery procedures or whatever, you might not have gotten that otherwise. So once you know who you're with, or have an idea of who you're with and what the relationship is, see how they are with other relationships. That's a really, really good one. Fun exercise to do in groups is once you connect with someone and you have someone who can take it, that person says yes to everything from that point forward. And it's surprising how often, and then you wait until the feedback. And in the very brief feedback, they'll tell you everything was yes, except, this and that, whatever small things it were. It's amazing how often it is 100% yes. Or the no's, the yeses that were really no's are really minor, insignificant things. That's a fun exercise to do. It's a good confidence building exercise. I really like it. And then the last two I want to talk about are variations of dialing direct. So dialing direct is when someone tells you, I want to hear from a specific person that they name. Um, and so just that in and of itself is a good exercise, because a lot of people are anxious about that. A lot of people think it's not possible. It absolutely is possible. I personally find it a little more challenging, but it's possible. And so when you're doing that exercise, the two things I want to say is, first of all, I believe it's better to go with a name rather than a relationship. So, the person would say, I want Diane, because you have no idea who Diane is. Because if they say, I want my mom, we all have preconceived ideas of relationships, especially parental relationships. So I try to go for a name rather than a relationship when someone wants to dial direct. I think that's really good. So that all by itself is a good exercise. And then also, once they give you a name, um, like Diane, you could say, what you do is you use the letters in the person's name, the person in spirit that they want, and use each letter to describe something. So Diane starts with a D. You could, and if you got, this was a very determined woman, sometimes D for determined. Diane, right? Is Diane. The I, also very introverted, very quiet person. Like, you use the letters in their name. It's a good way of getting out of your own head, just to advance the reading, to not try to get things you are trying to get things, but you're trying to get them relevant to a specific letter, and that sort of cuts out all the other stuff. I think it's a good exercise. Anyway, there's lots of good exercises you can do in practice circles, but those I've gotten a lot of value out of. I've used them privately on my own in readings without saying, here's what I'm doing, and it's worked really well. So those are those. Next week, I'm going to talk about when bad people die, because I've connected with a few of those, handful of those, and it's not what a lot of people think. I have ideas about that I want to share. So when people die, that's next week's video. And until then, thank you for watching this one, and see you next time.